Uh, Hey everyone, so it's a pleasure to be here with Josh Copeland, and he's a VSL and long form sales copywriter, and he's going to share with us his amazing story on how he started in this journey copywriting industry and his success story. It wasn't always flowers, but he is now a six figures, right, Josh? Writer. So I want this story to motivate you because I believe anyone can get where Josh is, and now I'm gonna pass everything to him. So he can start with his story, who he is, and yeah. Hi, Josh.
Well, first and foremost, thank you so much, Francille, for having me on your show. Very, very grateful. I can talk a lot. I can ramble. So I'm going to try to give you the very, very short version of my story. Basically, I've always had this passion for writing. And when I was in junior college, I realized really early on, that I wanted to do something that was going to make me a lot of money. And I've done the whole network marketing stuff before. I was in like that stuff, and I did the MLM stuff because I kind of just wanted to I wanted to find a way to make a lot of money doing something that I was passionate about. And I wasn't really passionate about those things. What I knew was I was passionate about writing. And so eventually I had to go back to working, dead end jobs and restaurant jobs, things like that. Not that there's anything wrong with restaurant jobs if you like this, but that's not what I really wanted to do. Just typical college kid stuff. And then one day, I was kind of sitting there and I was just like, man, I really want to be successful. I really want to be, wealthy. I want to be rich. I want to have a lot of money. I never want to have to worry about money again. I'm tired of taking this bus to work, or I'm tired of my car breaking down. I want something more. I want to be able to help my mom pay, with bills and stuff. Mm-hmm. And so I was looking at, I was looking on Google for some writing jobs, because I knew that even if I wasn't going to make a lot of money, if I could at least do what I love to do, maybe it'll all work out. Right?
It feel like work.
Exactly. So that's when I went online and I typed in 6 figures as a copywriter, 6 figures as a writer. How do you make 6 figures as a writer? And that's when I discovered my very first sales letter. I read that from 𝐤𝐤𝐴I called, could you write a letter like this one? And 6 figures as a writer. I was like, what is this? And by the time I got finished with it, I learned it was copywriting, and that people were doing this and they were making a ton of money from their laptops.
Yeah.
And I was sold right then and there. I knew right away that was what I wanted to do. I didn't care what I had to do. I was like, I'll figure it out and I'll write this stuff. And from then on.
This was when you were college, in high school, you said, or college? College.
This is college. This is when I was about this is about when I was 22, 23, when I discovered this. And so I was right away, I knew, I was like, this is what I want to do. This is what I want to do. I don't care. This is exactly what I want to do. I was like, I don't know what this is, but I get to write, and then I give it to clients, and then they use that. They put it out there. People read it. They buy stuff, and I get paid for it. Sold. That's all I want to do. I don't care. I can do that all day. And so when I discovered it, eventually I ran into some people who knew what copywriting was, and they had seen my passion, and they started throwing books and courses and stuff my way, and I ate it all up. I was just like, dude, this is what I want to do. I would spend hours and hours and hours rewriting sales letters by hand, and I would, I would go out and, I would write stuff for free for people and see if it worked. I did all that stuff until eventually I was able to write in a way that started making money. So, fast forward to today, here we are.
I have a question for you. At the beginning, did you know what kind of writing you wanted? Because some people like fiction, some people like copies, which is different from content, which is more educational nature, and to give value. So did you know what kind of copies you enjoy writing, or you like any writing?
Well, see, I didn't really know. I knew that I loved writing creatively. So creative writing, I would ace my creative writing classes in college, except for that one, the last one. For some reason, I didn't get an A. But I would ace my classes in college when it came to creative writing, and so I knew I wanted to do something along those lines. And you know, I didn't really know what kind of copy there was. I didn't at the time know about you know, emails and things like that. But I did know that my definition of copy at the time was a sales letter, right? The fundamental copy. So you write a sales letter. You have your headline and your subhead and your intro story, enter the product, you know, features and benefits, price, guarantee, testimonials, conclusion, buy now. Like that's all I knew. So when I started out writing, that was all I wanted to do. I was like, I want to learn how to write these kind of letters, these sales letters, and I want to make a lot of money doing that. And so I had to learn, like it was a windy road to figuring out what kind of copy I like to write. So I ended up writing all sorts of stuff. Like I wrote articles, I wrote advertorials, I wrote emails, I wrote landing pages, I wrote sales decks, I wrote you know, PowerPoints. I wrote pretty much every kind of copy there is, just to be able to get really good at this.
Yeah. That's why you're gonna know. Like if you don't try, you don't know.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I tried everything. It was but eventually I was able to be like, this is what I want to do. And so when I had opportunities to shine in this, when I had opportunities to write copy and sales letters, I mean, I kind of just flourished, and people kind of saw like, okay, this is really what he's good at. You know, I'm good at other stuff too, like advertorials and emails, but long form sales copy is where I shine at. So
yeah. So, and okay, so what are the 5 tips you would give, like 5, or it could be more, for people that want to write what you write is VSL? Like, what are the 5 tips that you would give to them to craft really killer VSL or long sales?
Well, first, the first tip I would give is coming up with a big idea. Now, a big idea is something that a big idea is supposed to help somebody better understand what it is that you're trying to sell. So when you have a big idea, like for example, you could take anything that's simple and make it extraordinary, like an ordinary thing, make it extraordinary by just coming up with a big idea. For example, Tim Ferriss, right? His whole thing with the 4-hour work week. The 4-hour work week was a big idea, when the truth is all he was talking about was outsourcing. You know, the lazy man's way to riches, right? By his name is escaping me right now. Okay, the lazy man's way to riches. Whoever wrote that, this sounds really bad right now. So his whole thing was, you know, creating an agency, like a direct response agency. That's the lazy man's way to riches, right? But it's the concept is what really attracts people. You know, just anything that you could think of. So big idea would be another one. The second thing that I would come up with is I would say that if you're gonna write a long form sales letter, make sure that your copy is short sentences, punchy and concise. A lot of people get confused when they start writing copy. They think that it's the same thing as academic writing, because you know, maybe they came from school or whatever. I know this is a big one for me. You know, as a writer, like I would write long sentences. I would write freaking, you know, like long sentences. So the key is to ignore all what you've learned about punctuation, grammar, and just keep things short and simple and straight to the point. Because what ends up happening is that the shorter the sentences, if you can compact big ideas or big messages in short, small sentences, then your readers get through the sales letter faster to the call to action button faster, which allows them to buy more, which makes you look good because now you're getting more sales. Yeah. So
no flowery language.
No flowery language, no fluff. That's the worst thing you could do.
Yeah.
The third thing I would do, speaking of flowery language, the third suggestion that I have or advice is don't write copy, write conversations.
Mm-hmm.
So
yes.
Yeah. So I'm working with one of the clients right now. He's like a really big client of mine. Mm-hmm. Paid me a ton of money to write a VSL for him. And I wrote a draft. And the first thing he said was, well, this sounds like copywriting, but it doesn't sound like a conversation. It sounds like hype and all this other stuff. And I was like, okay, well, I normally write that way, just kind of get an idea like of where you are. But what he said to me was like, I don't want to sell people in this. I want to have a conversation with them about it.
Yes.
You notice when you're talking to somebody about a movie, that you just saw at a theater, you're not trying to sell them on going to see the movie. You're just telling them about how amazing you think the movie is. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right? You don't lead in with, have you seen you need to go see Black Panther. It costs $10.99 for a ticket, and the popcorn isn't that expensive. The seats are very comfortable. It's like, no, you're like, dude, have you seen this freaking movie? This movie was amazing, and I love the actors, and he was so good, and Lupita Nyong'o was so hot, and blah 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 blah. You're just kind of going on and da 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 da. You're just talking about all these things about the movie. You're basically selling the movie without selling it. And that's kind of how your copy has to be, right? You want,
Yeah, sorry. I'm sorry to interrupt. I think it has to do with like, not everyone is in the same academic level. Like you need to reach all your audience's level of reading. That's why copy is simple, because it's out to everyone, right? Even though people that read academic, they don't like to read academic. Like when you want to catch the attention. I mean, you talk like a friend.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, talk like a friend. And that's you brought up another suggestion, another tip that I would have is know who you're writing to, right? So a lot of copywriters make the mistake of writing to everybody. Mm-hmm. That's not what you want to do. When you have a product, when you have a specific product, you have to understand who exactly you're writing to, because who needs it, right? If you write to everybody, then it becomes like a watered down message that just reaches everybody. But if you write to a specific message, rather than writing to everybody, if I write to Franchelle, it's gonna hit you more than if I were to write to just anybody who likes copyright, right? It's more personal that way. It's more concise that way. They feel like you understand them better, and people want to be understood. That's when they start buying from people. That's why they start following others, when they feel like they can relate and they feel understood.
Yes.
Right. So that would be my fourth one. The fourth. And then another tip would be, let's see.
Maybe a catchy headline. Otherwise, people won't be interested in what you have to say. The rest.
Exactly. And another tip of mine. This is actually a secret that I learned that I don't really talk to people about. Because you invited me on the show, I will
yeah, sure.
Add this kind of value to your viewers. So I don't really know what the technique is called. I forgot. It was told to me, but I'm going to call it double mirroring. That's probably what it is called. But just for the sake of it, I'll just say that this is what I call it: double mirroring. So when you're writing a sales letter, like a long form written sales letter, what you want to do is so when you're writing a lot of copy, what you'll do is you'll put a bunch of like subheads throughout the copy to kind of break up the monotony for those who are reading it. What you want to do is you want to tell the story. You want to tell the story through the subheads, so that it's easier to skim through the sales letter, right? So maybe the person doesn't have time to go through the entire thing, but when they read the subheads that go all the way down to the CTA, they already have an idea as to how the copy works, how the whatever product you're selling. It makes it makes it even easier and makes it even faster. It makes it even easier for your audience to read, it makes it for a faster read because they kind of just get the gist of what this product is about. And if you do it correctly, like if you do, if you're able to handle the objections within the subheads, then you're more likely to get a lot more buyers that way because all of their questions are answered. And if you really want to put a nail into the coffin, put an FAQ at the bottom, at the very bottom of the VSL.
What would be an FAQ?
Frequently asked questions, which
okay.
Yeah, so like if they have like, let's say they go through it and they still have questions. These frequently asked questions section should answer everything else that they might or may not have questions for. And the cool thing about the FAQ section is it's just a review of the subheads that they already read. So you just summarizing what they already read, copy paste really. So yeah, so those are my 5 things. Big ideas. Big ideas, subheads. Know your audience. Short and concise words and subheads. Yeah, double mirroring. Those are the 5.
Awesome. And last but not least, I want you to tell me, for people that are watching, that will watch this, they are just starting, they're like, they don't know what to do, like how to get where you are in terms of mindset and investment on time, money, or whatever. What are the 5 tips that you give them to get where you are, or to get where they want to get with copywriting, like to make actually a living with it? Okay.
So understand that understand that entrepreneurship is a journey, it's not a race. There are too many people, whether you decide to be a copywriter, a media buyer, graphic designer, Facebook ad expert, whatever. There are too many people today who think that they could just buy a course and they become an expert 30 days later. That's not the case. Even though you see a bunch of stories of people making all this money in like 30 to 60 days, they don't tell you about the countless hours and the countless failures that it took them to get to where they are. And if it's taken them a short amount of time, like, within 30 to 90 days, it's because all they did was this thing.
Yeah, exactly. 100%.
They skipped food, they skipped showers, they skipped hanging out with their friends, they skipped sleep. All they did was this thing. And that's why they were able to get to 30 days. So if you're going to do this entrepreneur thing, you need to take it seriously, and you have to understand that you have to get your reps in. You have to earn your stripes. You have to put that work in. Don't think that you're just going to hop into copywriting and that you're going to learn how to write a headline and you're going to start making 6 figures in 2 days. You need to get the work in it. You have to embrace the suck, is what they call it. And once you do, understand, like, you'll be able to get through this grind faster to get to where it is. It took me years to figure this out because I always was trying to look for the easy way out, and I didn't have the faith in myself to think that I was actually good.
Believe in yourself.
Yeah. So the second thing is believe in yourself. So understand, like once you understand there's a grind that comes with this, you have to know that it's a process, and you have to believe that eventually you're going to get it. Unless you find that you don't really want to do it anymore, and then it's then you try something else. But stick with it, because what ends up happening is that when you understand how it works, when you have the skill set, your confidence relies on the results. Once you have the work, there's no one that can tell you that that you're not good, or that you're bad, because boom, you put the work in. Number 3,
you learn as you go as well.
You learn as you go as well. But it's, like I said, learning process, embrace the suck, learning process. Number 3, proof is your God, right? So I already said it. Jason Capital, when I was getting mentorship from him, he told me that proof was your guide. So when we were write copy, we would have these claims, but then we'd have to back them up with forms of proof. When you have forms of proof, you can't argue that, because if they're real, then it's real. So when you're writing copy, when you're learning the skill set and you're working with clients, and you get them real results, no one can take that from you. No one can argue that. So understand, when you have the proof that you can make money for someone else, then you can start demanding money from everyone else.
Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know?
Can I just say something? What you said at the first one, you give tip. You said when people want to like make a living with copywriting,
Mm-hmm.
I hear people all the time saying, but they don't like want to invest. I'm not saying money, but they don't want to invest time in it. I know people have maybe sometimes a full-time job, but they're too distracted with because that happens with myself, distracted
Mm-hmm.
with social media and not taking that time that they have free to actually invest that time in actually learning and figuring it out to get there. It's just not priority. Not they want to do it, but it's like they don't want it.
Yeah.
They want it. It's So
yeah. So those people, you kind of have to sit there and have a real conversation with yourself. Like, do you really want 6 figures? Like, where do you really see yourself doing this thing? Think of it this way. When you're presented with an opportunity to be great at something, the universe is going to test you by distracting you with social media, with relationships, with what's going on in the outside world. It's up to you to use your mind to focus on what it is you really want to do until you get to that goal. Because once you hit that goal, then you'll be able to enjoy yourself because you've already done that. On top of the fact that you've already achieved something that was awesome, you're able to go back to living life the way you want to live because you have control of it. For those who have a lot going on, maybe you have kids, maybe you have a job, you have to do the hard thing, and you have to sacrifice time that you would normally spend chilling and doing this. If you're working 8 hours, like Gary Vaynerchuk talks a lot about this. If you working 8 hours, from 9 to 5, take a break, come home, and from 7 to 2, you work on your thing until you get the desired, you achieve the desired result.
One thing I was thinking, sometimes the priorities are wrong, like just I mentioned, because they are now working as let's say a teacher, right, at a school, but what they actually kind of didn't it time for them to get that to their career? Why don't you take my mindset is why don't you take time to learn what you really want and love to do? Because you said it takes work, it's hard work, but maybe if it's something you love, it's not going to feel like work.
That's true. That's really not. And that's the key. Like, when you really love it, it doesn't feel like work, which means you're going to spend a lot more time trying to perfect it. I remember I was working at T-Mobile, and it was a part-time job, but I was at the time I was learning how to write copy. So it didn't matter what I was doing. Like, it didn't matter if it was I worked from a 6-hour shift. There would be times where I would close, right? I would close, it would close sometimes at 10 or 11. And I'd go to Starbucks and I would chug a freaking I would double my shots of freaking espresso in a coffee. I would chug it and I'd be wired. I'd go home and I would just write copy for another 4 or 5 hours. That's how dedicated I was to learning how to do this. This is before I actually met Jason Capital, but this is the kind of work I would do. I'd go on Upwork and I would spend all my time looking for projects that clients would post for dirt cheap just to learn the skill, because I loved it that much. And when you love something that much, you will go to the ends of the earth just to be good at it. You don't have to. And that's the cool thing about copywriting. You don't have to be the best copywriter in the entire world. You just have to be good enough to get people results and make them money, and you can live the life of your dreams. I haven't worked a job in 3 years.
Yay.
You know what I'm saying? I just live the laptop lifestyle, and I do this, and it's because I put so much work in. I mean, I've been writing copy for 5 years, but I put so much work in that I know I can write. I have the confidence, and giving clients enough results to where people can pay me with confidence.
Mm-hmm.
And when you get to that point in your career or in your skill set, life gets really interesting. So like, understand, like, this is a journey, but there is a light at the end of the tunnel. And when you hit it, it'll
Mm-hmm.
brighten up your entire day
Mm-hmm.
and days and
Mm-hmm.
months and weeks.
That was the three tips that you gave. What's the last two ones?
Okay, the last two is keep going. Well, the last, okay, never give up on your dream, right? So if you have, actually, no, let me, that can be the last tip.
Okay.
I think manifestation is very, very important when it comes to goals. So I would set 30 days, 60 day, and 90-day goals for yourself. A vision board is really, really good for this.
Yes.
Write out these things, put it on the wall. So when you wake up every morning, you see these goals, and just like, because what this is going to do is going to allow you to stay focused on what it is you want. Yeah. There are going to be times where you feel lost and you're going to be like, man, you know, I don't know if I could do this. And then you look at your vision board and you're like, this is what I'm doing it for. Right?
Focus on the dream, not on the process. Because if you focus, that's the problem. People focus on, oh, I have to, dedicate 2 hours, because that's the process, right? If they focus on the end goal, like on the dream, then, I mean, it's more motivation. It gives you more gas and motivation to get there.
Exactly. And so yeah, the dream is everything, right? So you focus on that, but you know, a dream is just a dream unless you have a plan. So this is why I say plan out the 30-day goals. Okay, if I want to make 6 figures this year, what do I have to do? Okay, I have to learn this skill set. I have to get at least 3 clients, or I have to get at least 5 clients that are paying me $2K a month. But in order for them to pay me, I need to learn the skill. So I need to come up with, I have to learn the skill. I have to, you know, at least show that I can do it. And then I can, you know, get my first client. I can give them results. And then when I get the results for that client, I can do this, and that, right? So that's that. So plan out your goals, because then like your dreams become a reality when you plan them out, when you're realistic about them. You know what? Never give up that's a bonus. Everyone tells you never to give up on your goals. I want to give you guys something that people aren't going to tell you about, so that you really have some value here. And that is, what is that? What can I really drop here?
Okay, before, while you think, I have a question for you. So that first 10K letter that you charged your client, what made you think that not fear, like, okay, this client I'm charging 10K. What was the points that you evaluate to price that much for them, and to feel confident? Okay, you are confident with your skills. You know also the client could pay that much. Like, what was the big idea that you analyzed to charge the client 10K for one project?
Okay. So I charge, so the client, so what gave me the confidence is me kind of just realizing how good I was at what I've done. And it wasn't so much that I was all that good, even though I'm pretty good at copy.
Yeah.
It was me going back and following my own advice that I gave, which is to understand that proof is your God. I had to kind of just accept the fact that I was good, because at first, because I didn't realize how good I was. I didn't believe that I was that good, because I didn't believe myself. I had really low self-esteem. But when you look back at all the people that I've helped make money, I mean, I've written sales letters, I've written emails that have generated $20,000 or more. I've written sales letters that have generated 10K in a day. I've written VSLs that have generated over $75, $70, $80, $90,000. Like, these are things that I've done, and I didn't really believe, like, I would like beat myself down. Oh, those are okay. There are other competitors that are making like 300,000, 500,000, $1 million. And don't do that. Don't compare yourself to other people. Understand that this is where you're at. This is how good you are, and command your prices accordingly. And I figured if I'm helping people generate like this much money, then a fraction of that would be around $10,000 for a VSL.
Yeah.
Right. And that's like, and there's nothing wrong with charging that. It's just art.
No.
I had to, I had to convince myself, like, man, like, do I deserve that? Can I? What would I do?
Right?
Yeah.
It's your worth because you're making them money.
Exactly.
You are like, it's like a physical store where on a physical store, the most important person is not the manager, is the person that sells the product. Because if no sales, no client, no business, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
You when you realize that they need you, for your services, then it becomes a whole different ballgame. You don't, okay, that's the last thing that I'm going to talk to you. That's the last tip. That's the last tip that I have, is understand your value. These clients are paying you money to do your service because they need you, not the other way around. And when they have it in their head that you need them, then they treat you like trash. They really will. And that's the dark side of entrepreneurship, is that, because I used to do a lot of stuff for free when I was starting out, just to show them that, to give them the value up front first. And you'll run into some really ugly clients out there who think that who think that they are doing you a favor. No, you're doing them a favor. They're paying you because they need you. And as soon as you can like really adopt this in your mindset, one, that's going to make you want to be even better at what you do, because now you're like, these clients, they need this. Like copywriting is a need. There's a lot of people out there who think that, I could find a copywriter on Upwork or something. No, you can't. Copywriting is not a commodity. It's a necessity. And those who are really good at writing copy, they are rarities. You have to have that mindset. And that goes for anything. Media buying, Facebook ad experts. You know how hard it is to do Facebook ads? If you can master Facebook ads, people will pay you stupid amounts of money. Anything you could think of as far as like making money online, high income skills, sales, closers. Sales is like one of the hardest things in the world, but it's the most rewarding, right?
Yeah.
So understand that they need you. You are the valuable one in this situation. And when you can negotiate in that mindset, then the people will take you more seriously and they will pay you a lot more money.
Okay. Yeah. Well, that's great. Well, thank you so much, Josh. Thank you so much for participating on this. I'm very grateful for you to have accepted. Now it's just ending here. I don't want to, I don't know if I stop pause, so I can not, I need to save this video.
If you recorded it and you end the video, it should upload just fine.
Okay, so I'll end the video now. But yeah, thank you so much again, and we'll speak soon. And I'll send you the copy though, if you want. I'll send you the copy of the video if you want it.
Yeah, please do. I was going to ask if you can cut up some clips of it, but yeah,
sure.
Because I want to be able to share that and stuff. But yeah, no, if anything, thank you for inviting me on your show. I hope that a lot of people get a ton of value from it, and I hope you have more episodes of this to come. I hope this helps you get more people on your show so that you can get more value to more people.
Yes, me too. That's the goal. Help people.
Yes.
Have a great rest of your day.
You too. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Blessings.